Here's the title: Cake in Two, TWO. And here's the log line: the love story of Cyrano de Bergerac, that it's set in a modern day cake shop reality show. Let that one sink in.
Now time for some interactive fun.
Hey, it's Kirk. This is still Dumb Test Late, and I'm back again for another episode. And it's at nighttime, so I'm gonna try my hardest not to yawn into the microphone. I promise, I swear. But yeah, the last episode, I hope was the last episode I did. I talked about wanting to go back over my older ideas because I've been reading this book called Save the Cat. That's about screenwriting. It's very good on ways to basically create your screenplay. Like terms, there's a lot of terms in it, and the way you should structure it and the way you should come up with ideas. And it's been really good. And it gave me the idea that I should go back over my older episodes and rewrite what they call log lines. Like in the intro to this episode, I said every good screenplay needs a good title. That's what it said in the book. And a log line. That's like your elevator pitch, your one-liner to basically pique interest in your idea. It's to get them in, reel them in. So like I said, the title is Cake in Two. Cake in Two. Well, this episode is called Cake in Two Redo because I was going back over through my older episodes from the earliest and rewriting like what I would want the title to be and the log line for the, hypothetical idea. And I got to my third episode. I did in April of last year, so almost a year. It was called Cake in Two, and it was about I misheard or whatever a comment somebody made to me about the famous phrase you can have your cake and eat it in two, but I misheard it or the way they said it, and I heard cake in two. And I used AI chatbot to create like a scene in a romantic comedy set in like a cake shop where two characters have a conversation based on the prompt Cake in Two. It's funny because today I was thinking more about the idea, and I found like the old note I left for myself in my book bag. I used to like write notes down on Post-it notes to remind myself. And I found that note from last year when I had the initial idea. I wrote, "Take the cake and eat it in two." Because I think that's what somebody said to me, or that's what I heard, and my mind and my imagination ran wild with it. And chatbot helped me. I think for the episode, and I re-listened to the episode, it's not a full idea. I wanted to use that cake and take the cake and eat it in two as just a scene from a romantic comedy. And I used the script that chatbot came up with to build out that episode from last year. I'll leave it in the show notes. It's a podcasting term. But then I was thinking about that idea more and more. It was playing in my head. And I was listening to some other podcasts today about different things, like this new podcast that I'm really I'm liking. It's called The Gayest Episode Ever, where the hosts talk about like special episodes of like older. They do some newer like sitcoms where there's like gay character or a gay theme or something like that. They did the episode of Seinfeld called The Outing, where there's a reporter that mistakes George and Jerry for being gay. That made me think of the episode, back up and tangent first. The initial idea I had, because I was like, maybe I should rewrite or redo the whole idea from the Cake in Two. So the first thing I came up with was, just the prompt I did with chatbot they came up with for a romantic comedy. I was like, maybe I could write a romantic comedy. And then I was like, I'm going to do a cheesy Hallmark movie type of romantic comedy set in a bakery. And I ended up looking up Hallmark movies. There's a few that are set in bakeries, but they're like around Christmas time. There's like gingerbread ones, and a big shot, executive loses her job and has to go back home to where she grew up in the bakery that her family owns and that type of stuff. But my initial idea was that the couple meets while in culinary school. They fall in love, they get married pretty quick, and they open a bakery together. Like they love baking together, they open a bakery together, but they end up getting divorced. Like they rush into the relationship and rush into opening a bakery together, and they're imagining this long life together, but in reality they get a divorce, but they're stuck owning this bakery together, and conflict ensues. Like I was imagining having to separate the bakery and work on different ends of it. And I was thinking about the idea more and more in my head, and I realized that this whole idea is just the movie The Breakup with Jennifer Aniston. It's either that, The Breakup, or Forgetting Sarah Marshall, because then I imagine like one of the partners in the couple would start seeing someone else, and that would be a whole nother issue. And I was like, even though every story has been done before, you're just adding a new twist or adding a new idea to it. I was like, it's too much like The Breakup. So I was like, how can I change the idea? And like I said, I was listening to the podcast and I was getting ideas. I was like, I have to come up with something new. So it's not cliche. That's always my thing I'm working towards. And not cliche, and it's not overly done. And you're not just copying an old idea. And I was like, I want to keep it with partners, like a partner, a couple, or something like this. Something romantic. It's going to be a romantic comedy or a romantic story set in a bakery. That I think the bakery is going to be called Cake and Two. So this is what I came up with. The start for it would be the same. So the people involved will meet in culinary school or pastry school or whatever it's called. But it's two guys. Bear with me, because I was listening to that episode about, the outing of Seinfeld, and I was thinking about George and Jerry, how they're confused of being gay, and I was thinking about that character dynamic. So they're friends in culinary school. One is like really outgoing, really tall, really good looking, and his friend who secretly has a crush on him is not that outgoing, is introverted, but is a really good baker. And he starts to, the really outgoing friend who's super popular, is not really doing that good in school. The one who has a crush on him starts helping him. So he basically starts cheating for him, starts, baking stuff for him. And the outgoing friend turns it in and becomes very successful. But he's not really doing any work. So from now on, it's just going to be Jerry and George. Jerry is the outgoing one. George is the more introverted one. I'm just going to stick with those names because that's the names that popped up now. And so that led me to think of other stories that way. And it made me think of Cyrano de Bergerac, kind of that hidden love story of somebody who, because Cyrano de Bergerac, he had the really big nose and he falls in love with Roxanne, but he doesn't think Roxanne will like him because how he looks. So he kind of sends these love notes through another person. But that other person falls in love with him. And so that's going to be another background to my story. So what's going to happen in my story is George, the introverted one, he does all this work behind the scenes for Jerry, the extroverted one. And Jerry becomes super popular to the point where he opens a bakery. And it leads to a reality show. Because he's super extroverted. He's super, he's a good character, I should say. He's very outgoing. He's very TV show good looking, I should say. And so, but the George character is the one that's actually doing all the work. He's behind the scenes doing all the real baking and all the real experimental stuff and all the stuff that's making Jerry popular. Because at the same time, George is in love with Jerry, but he doesn't know really how to say it. Maybe he's closeted, or maybe for whatever reason. That's why he keeps doing all these things to basically boost Jerry into this, reality TV show stardom, makes him really famous. But Jerry really isn't doing the bakery work. George is. So that's where like one of the conflicts is, and that's where the Cyrano de Bergerac theme comes in. So at some point, Jerry through being on the reality show, he gets in contact with somebody else who's doing a reality show, and they have like a fake marriage or something to boost ratings, and George is the one who's doing all the work, has to struggle with that. And yeah, that's like the background for the story. That's instead of my story, that the original one I did, that would be just be the breakup or forgetting Sarah Marshall. That's why my log line for this one is the love story of Cyrano de Bergerac that's set in a cake shop reality show, where the George character has to find a way through his baking or whatever to make Jerry see him as a love interest. And he's struggling with that. He's like stuck in this introverted background. He's the character of Cyrano de Bergerac, watching his Roxanne fall in love with or have a pseudo relationship with Christian. And he has to struggle with that and use a way to bake into Jerry's heart. No, that's a cheesy tagline. Sorry, I won't include that one. But yeah, it'd be kind of like that. I'm rambling. I'm so sorry. But that, because I really wanted to get this episode out. I didn't want to wait. But yeah, that's my Cake in 2 redo. Hopefully I can flesh it out some more. These are just like the preliminary thoughts. My log line that I wanted to come up with. Also, one of the things in Save the Cat, like the whole term of Save the Cat is that's the hero. Because in the book, it talks about setting the tone or setting who is the hero in a story that the audience could get behind. Like they, save the cat. They do something heroic, small. They do a small heroic thing earlier on in the story to make the audience go, that's the hero. That's what I'm going to get behind. In this one, like, I don't know if I would have a hero. It would be a tragic hero. Like the story of Cyrano de Bergerac is a tragic love story. So the hero in this would be the George character because you want him to win. You want him to see him not fall in love. You see him fall in love, but you will want him to see the person who he's fallen in love with, see him as a love interest. You want them to see them together. That will be the hero aspect. I don't know how I would come across with that. It would be something earlier on. You see the good side of this person that even though they struggle with putting their feelings out there or just telling the person who they love that they love them, they struggle with that. You see the progression and you want them to succeed with that. And that would be my Save the Cat. Also in the book, they break down story categories into 10 different ones. I'm sorry, I don't have the book in front of me, but the one this will fall on, there's a bunch of ones like Monster in the House, and it's not just basically categories or genres like, romantic comedy or action or stuff like that. They break it down and they reference other movies. Like Monster in the House would be like Jaws or something like that. And the one this will fall under would be buddy love, like a buddy comedy, but the buddies, you want the buddies to fall in love in this one, in their cake shop reality show. That would be the story category or the story setting, however that's said. Yeah. So like this is what I want to do with my older stories, to go back over them. Like my early episodes are just smaller ideas. So I want to go back through them and rewrite titles and log lines and who's the hero and what category they would fit in. And this is the first one that it really it clicked in me to do more. So I had the title, which is Cake in 2, the log line, the love story of Cyrano de Bergerac that is set in a cake shop reality show. That's the one liner. And then I build upon that. My hero will be the George character because I will have to make the audience see him as the hopeless romantic that wants to fall in love, or wants to not fall in love, but make the person who he's fallen in love with notice him in the same way that he likes them. And it's a buddy love. That'd be the category, buddy love. But yeah, it's a quick one. Cake in 2. So the next couple episodes, I'll probably be doing the same thing where I go back over old episodes to build them out more. Maybe I'll come back to this one, or maybe I'll go back to my training day one. but I want to build them out more because my long term thing, I do want to eventually write a full screenplay. I don't know which idea that it will, inspire me the most where I could actually do a full screenplay, but I'm going to follow the steps in this book, Save the Cat. That's what this show is going to detail and go through. But thanks for listening. This is still Dumb Test Slate. I'm still Kirk. I'm still working on weird ideas. Even though I didn't use AI on this one to create anything, I just wanted to get my ideas out there. Maybe on the next one, I will do a small episode where I see what AI thinks or whatever new I come up with. But always check out my website, Dumb Test Slate, where I post pictures of like the AI generated ones that are the ideas, the visual ideas for the show. Check out my Instagram, Dumb Test Slate, which I'm always posting random stuff. Also check it out on YouTube. I've been posting like some YouTube shorts under my name, Kirk on a Budget, the old YouTube channel I've had forever that's gone through over many changes, but you can see some on there. Try to post as much as I can as far as video, like visual ideas, visual representations of the ideas I have. But yeah, thanks for listening. I hope you hear from me again on the next one. Bye-bye.